Hi, it's Travis White with the Persuasive Communication Tip of the Week. Let's talk about seduction. Now, I know what you think about when you hear the word seduction. I'd like you to take that and put it aside for at least the duration of this video. Because what seduction originally meant was simply to convince someone to do something because they wanted to do it. And ultimately, that's the objective of most persuasive communications: convince someone to do something because they want to do it. Now, how do you do that? How do you make your arguments more seductive? I'm going to use a little methodology that was created by Robert Cialdini in his book called Influence. And Robert Cialdini says there are 6 different methods that you can use to make your argument more seductive to convince people to do something because they want to do it. In today's video, I'm going to give you a summary of those 6. In future videos, I'm going to go through each one of the 6 methods, and we'll go through it in much more detail. But today, simply a summary. So, method number 1, simply reciprocity. Do a favor for somebody, they feel obliged to return the favor. The famous study in the United States where Christmas cards are very popular. Typically, you would send Christmas cards to friends and acquaintances. A social scientist sent Christmas cards to randomly selected strangers, people whose names he just looked up in a telephone book. 73% of those strangers sent Christmas cards back, even though they had no idea who the person was. So that's the principle of reciprocity. Second one is scarcity, something that happens that it's going to be scarce. Scarce things are viewed as being more valuable than non-scarce things. And frankly, that's the reason we answer telephones. Even when you're engaged in a nice conversation with a friend, the telephone rings and it's going to stop ringing soon. It's going to be scarce. It's only a limited time offer that you can answer that telephone. And so oftentimes you interrupt a good conversation to answer the phone even though you don't know who's on the phone. The third one is authority. The third method is authority. This is what we learned in Crest. Crest, the toothpaste, appealed to authority, the American Dental Association. Someone who is deemed to know more than we do, someone who is deemed to be an expert and a trustworthy expert. The next one is liking. If you like me, you're more likely to find me persuasive. And oftentimes a very persuasive thing to say is simply, I like you, I want you to succeed. Therefore, I'd recommend this course of action. The next one is called social proof. That is, who believes this? Who else supports this idea? We can refer to people, some of whom are people in authority, who are experts, who are deemed to know more than we know. But the more people who believe something, the more likely it is to be persuasive. And the last one is called consistency. And that is, if I say something today, I want to be consistent with that tomorrow. And the idea then is that if I take a position, I don't want to change my position. I want to be consistent over time. So those are the 6 methods of being more seductive: reciprocity, scarcity, authority, consistency, liking, and social proof. We'll talk about each of those in more detail in future videos, but remember, there are 6 different ways to be more seductive. That's the Persuasive Communication Tip of the Week. See you again next week.